Ojode Atwaje, Abẹ́sọ̀pẹ́. Ayaba Atwaje, Abẹ́sọ̀pẹ́. Adaye Atwaje, Abẹ́sọ̀pẹ́. Ẹgbẹ̀dúwà.
ITV, certainly the best.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
It's always a delight to have you join us on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. And today we'll begin the show as always by looking at some of the stories we are following in the political scene. The African Democratic Congress has formally welcomed the publisher of Ovation magazine and former presidential aspirant Chief Dele Momodu into its fold. Momodu officially joined the opposition coalition on Thursday ahead of the 2027 general election. During his declaration in Benin City, the state capital, Momodu pledged to collaborate with like-minded Nigerians to rescue and reposition the country. Okay, more coming into the ADC fold in the build-up to 2027. Let's look at other stories that we are following as we get the conversation on course. A Rivers State High Court in Port Harcourt has issued an interim injunction restraining the State Assembly from going ahead with its impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odo. Justice F.A. Feberesima gave the ruling on Friday while granting motions ex parte in the two suits filed by Governor Fubara and Mrs. Odo, a professor. The two separate suits filed by the governor and his deputy were marked in suit number OYHC/7/CS/2016 and OYHC/6/6CS and 4/2016. The 27 lawmakers, including the Speaker of the House, Martin Amahole, the Clerk of the House, and the Chief Judge, were listed as defendants in the suits. Okay, more for you on this segment of the show. Let's quickly look at other stories that were following. Abba Abubakar is the son of former Vice President and 2023 People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar has formally defected from the PDP to the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, pledging to work for the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. The defection was also announced on Thursday at the National Assembly. The father is in ADC and the son is in APC. Well, we never can tell where our breads will be buttered ultimately. So let's have the child here and have the parents here. Anyway, so crazy. Let's look at other stories as we begin to call it a wrap on this segment of the show. Osborn Umahi, son of the Minister of Works, David Umahi, on Friday picked the All Progressives Congress APC chairmanship nomination and expression of interest form for the Ohazara local government area of Ebonyi State. Osborn, the first son of the minister, was escorted to the party secretariat in Abakaliki by a crowd of supporters. Okay. Turning into a family business. Anyway, that's on the lighter side. Welcome on board the program this lovely, lovely Saturday morning. We'll begin our conversation from Rivers State, or with the Rivers State issue. That's the latest development. And it looks like, in a sense, the impeachment move against Siminalayi Fubara, His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, is not really going as planned. What could be responsible? Even before the court ruling came out on Thursday, we heard from very reliable sources that the presidency was really not cool with what is happening in Rivers State. I've got my good friend here, Collins Amadi Osangai, civil society activist, politician, public affairs analyst, joining me. Collins, thank you for coming on the program.
Sanju, good morning. Nice having you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Fantastic. Okay, now let's look at the Rivers issue. For many, analysts, some people, it was probably going to be a railroad in impeaching Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Would you say that his joining the APC is not a twist or the magic wand that has kept him in place as governor of Rivers State in spite of the impeachment threat?
Thank you very much. Again, good morning, viewers and listeners. I don't want to take it in that manner because this is not the first time the Rivers legislature have tried to correct the wrong of the governor. They have tried over the time to see how they can collaborate, as government is all inclusive. But unfortunately, it has not been like that with Rivers' style of governance, especially with Governor Fubara's style of governance. But however, the first time they tried, there is always this intervention coming in. And now he has run to the court. I know that the court does not have right to even give such an injunction. First, you can't hold nothing on nothing. No one has been served. You are preempting. Someone have just been told that, gross misconduct. First, you're supposed to have submitted your appropriation budgets since between November and December. Now we are entering February. You have failed to do this. So many a time the House have called you to come and answer questions. They are the checkmates of the executive. Take it or leave it. You don't need to like the face of the person. It may be your younger brother, maybe your houseboy's son that is there. Don't use that eye to look at the person and say, oh, these ones I was feeding yesterday. Like we hear the governor say the other time, that these ones I used to give money. You don't say that. There is not separation of power. Everyone is doing his or hers. So allow them to function, and you also function in your own capacity. So when you begin to undermine them because there were too much familiarity yesterday, or because you saw them as once a beggar, or as once your houseboys, and you now think based on that you are bigger than them. Now why are you running? We also heard him say the other time that it was not fresher and more interesting, even now that he's not a governor. His mind has left, he's no more there. But now you are running to the court to come and help you salvage. All this necessary? After the intervention of major stakeholders in the last episode that just ended, to the extent you guys have to start flying outside this country using taxpayers' money to do reconciliation. People who never intended to become billionaire became billionaire because Fubara is creating problem and quarreling with his people, which is not necessary. Or the money you have started spending now, If you had added it, assumingly based on your own budget, if you have added it for them to do their constituency project, the governor also have what it takes to do a re-oversight on legislature. If they are not also doing the constituency job as claimed that they want to use them for, there are mechanisms to check all of
So
that.
are you saying that the governor ought to have presented another budget before the assembly when there was a budget running before he came on board under the leadership of Ibas, who was the sole administrator? There was a budget passed for Rivers State by the National Assembly in line with the Constitution. That budget has not been expended or concluded, and you're requesting for another budget because there is 600 billion naira in the account to be lavished and sent out or distributed for constituency projects. Is this your line of reasoning?
Now, Sonny, we must get this very clear. The budget that was submitted by the sole administration was supplementary budget, and it's aimed in the physical activities of that governance that year. That budget is not supposed to exceed first week of February. At no level should he. And you must prepare another one ahead of your next physical activities, which follows end from that same February. So within ending of this January and first week of February, any action the governor takes, okay, budget does not meet, it must completely elapse. There are sometimes you run a budget, you will not even have accessed half of your budget, but the budget is already gone and dead. Then you will now go and do a reappraisal and probably give a physical evaluation to the legislature on how you did or spent the past budget. Yes, we were supposed to spend 20 billion in that last budget, either on infrastructure or whatsoever. At the end of the day, we only spent 2 billion. We still have about 980 billion. Then they canceled it, and you start afresh with the addition coming and what you have left in the account. You start a fresh budget. You start exercising on fresh budget. Not because you just assume, okay, you said you wanted to submit a budget. They had claim that those persons feel some things were not imputed. Even the president succumbed to legislatures. It's only Fubara that is different. When it comes to time for presentation of budget, if you have gone AY, the legislature are waiting for you either through defense, when you want to do defense, or defense by ministry or agencies. They are waiting for you because they must call you for defense at a particular time. That is what the legislatives, those are their responsibility. Or when you want to present another budget, then they will now assess you based on the past budget or the current budget that is ongoing. How are you implementing them? And what have you done? Now you are running away. You are just doing the next thing. You'll be creating sentiment. You'll be doing this one. Is that what governance is all about? How can you continue to quarrel? You have been a governor for invariably 3.5 years or 3 years per se now, getting to 3 years. Yet out of 30 honorable members, you don't even have 4. The 4 you even drawed before, you did not even pay them balance. They ran back again. Is that not an insult?
But we saw recently, I think about 4 legislators who are now against the impeachment process. Isn't this division a crack?
That is why I said, as at yesterday, maybe you didn't watch it live, the same 4 had gone back and said you must not be impeached. That they thought them receding would have given the governor an opportunity for them to help to rekindle the infight that is going on. But that the man is still very arrogant. The 4 of them came out on a press conference yesterday. Almost all the stations, your sister, TV sister stations covered it and said they are no more with him. That they have gone back. Now he's now 0/30. Is that not an high?
So are you bothered by the fact that
governance?
This issue has degenerated to the level it is now? But what is concerning is that at the level of the federal level, the presidency doesn't seem to be disposed to this impeachment against Fubara, owing to the fact that there were some reconciliations and agreements reached the last time before the emergency rule was lifted. And we also saw Fubara joining the APC. We saw Dave Umahi. We saw Nuhu Ribadu and another governor coming to visit him and perhaps confer the president's message to him that he's doing well and that the president is in support of what he's doing in Rivers State. And that's perhaps undermine the interest of the minister of FCT and some Wike.
The truth is that outside politics, we are not personal enemies. So if you come to join our party, a few days ago, there was one of our major critics during the last election. And he was in Nigeria, and he called me, he was around. Or we spoke, and he was around. And he hosted me somewhere. And we embraced, and that is politics. We have also moved on. For the fact that even when Fubara was in APC, Fubara was already looking for people to spend money for, to help him tie presidency so that he won't go out ordinarily. But those things are not necessary. Ribado is not your enemy. Ribado is not enemy of Wike. He can greet you and greet anybody. Does that stop the legality of what you are supposed to do? Can you be hiding under people's backyard? A government that is supposed to be functioning with full capacity, delivering on dividends of democracy for your people all the time. All you create is problem and problem and problem. Do you think the Rivers people are happy with this? When reconciliation was made, they expected you to take advantage of it, work modalities out that indeed good governance will be flowing. Now you want to set you have set the state on another set of fire. What is it that they've not seen before? Is it the first to be governor? He is not. The president is very, very, I can assure you that the president is disappointed with him. Do you think the president is not having a ache even with legislatures, both parliament, both rep and senate? But he's been able to use his experience, understanding that they all have their own responsibility to manage them. Even if ordinarily when the Senate president was having some issues with either one blackmailer or what have you, you can see how the president tried to manage it among them. Even Nashata, you heard Natasha Abi was her name, come on television the other day thanking the president for the fatherly role, for making sure those things that were alleged against him were withdrawn. As Fubara not go to court to withdraw cases before, you withdraw case tomorrow morning, you are doing another one. What kind of groundnut did he eat that is moving him like that? That's not what good governance is all about. It's not by muzzle. People are saying fight. It's delivering. Is it about fighting? Even if you can beat Wike black and blue, or you are good at betraying those who assisted you, no problem. You can do that, but at least apply some level of caution. You can agree with me, even Wike himself is not happy to see this happen again. Because I saw some clips after the first reconciliation, the last reconciliation that happened. You saw how excited he was.
He's been going around the state threatening fire and brimstone following the defection of Fubara from PDP to APC, that your move coming to APC is not a guarantee for second term. We saw all of that on television.
But his boys are also in APC, the legislature. So if he had said that, we simply miss changing party does not stop you from doing what you are supposed to do as a governor or as a legislature. You have, see, governance come before political party. Yes, political party gave an umbrella to it, but the major reason why you join political party is to help to deliver good governance. And when you want to go and hide under either the national secretary or hide under one person, you give them money to come and visit you or not to come and visit you, does that change anything? Do you think Umahi and Wike can ever go like this? It's impossible. Do you think Ribado can ever go like this? Let's not even forget yesterday. Even if people are throwing stone, let Wike fall, let the whole world fall on top of Wike. I'm not part of that because I have a grateful heart. I knew at the point where Wike came to resuscitate and even make the party APC that they are now running into where he is now. They were, okay, this man was inaugurated, was about to be inaugurated. The next day was sending invitation to Amechi and Atiku Abubakar. You have not, from the very first day he started being a governor, he has started his fight with his boss. Ordinarily, you expect that you will go through profile of dignitaries to be vetted by both of you, because at that time you have not even been sworn in. You have already started your capitalism. That is not how life should go, okay. And that is not how governance should go. So I feel very sorry for Fubara. If he feels people are hailing him that he's doing well, the record he have today is 0/100.
You've been a youth student activist for many years. Something happened in Ekboma recently which led to protest and then degenerated to riots. And at the end of the day, I mean, the result of the insecurity situation that is ravaging the country and has become very pronounced in Edo Central, specifically in Ekboma in recent times. People have to go on the streets. Eventually, some students were arrested and on the verge of being prosecuted, but the governor came out and took a different decision. What's your reaction to this?
Yes, first, I want to thank His Excellency, a father of all, a man with high head, and a man who will listen for helping to release those young men, because we know that majority of those people neither were detained or arrested would have been innocent, even though not all will be innocent. But unfortunately, that is why we pray that let our legs not take us to where problems are. We have been involved in student unionism for years, activism for years. We organize this protest. All my life, with all the protests I have joined, I have organized. In short, I have not spent 48 hours in custody. I have happened to be invited many a time, either to DSSS or to police. I answer questions and they ask me to go. Even where you arrest people working with me, when I come back, you release them for me. Because there are no reasons for destruction. When protests turn to riots, it becomes problem. When you want to organize, the problem we now have this day with civil society of some of our people who in the name of civil society want to make change which is not genuine because they know themselves. When you want to fight for somebody, you are saying 50-50 or 60-40. At the end, you will take 60, I will take 40. You involve yourself in community, you involve yourself with this one, you are everywhere, your value become to diminish. Now, you want to do a protest, you are looking for a politician in opposition to send you people money to buy mineral, to buy pure water. At the end of the day, you know, there's nothing you do hide in civil society activities or even in politics. You can only hide it for 24 hours. After 24 hours, Nyash must open. Either you did not share well or there are an issue of deceit. Oh, the other man sent and you said did not send. And that is why you see people most times spreading civil society. Today is one name. Tomorrow is another name. There's one young man we have done civil society together at the time. I don't want to mention a name in public. He has ended up opening up to about 6-7 names of different groups. Today, when he raised money from people, when he look back, you want to know, he will kill that group, call another name, bring his cousin as secretary, kill that one. So they have bastardized the whole thing. When you now turn what is supposed to be a peaceful awareness protests into a riot, destroying government properties, burning tires on roads, when we know what it cost us to begin to wake up from the deficit on infrastructure we have. Over the years, I don't have lack roads. Now we saw somebody doing roads for us, concrete road and what have you. You want to start burning them and spoiling them again? You're burning them, what does it change? You have even incurred more roads. Unfortunately, I heard whether 1 or 2 persons died or 1 person died or someone in the hospital. You know, some persons were shot at the stomach. We even heard at a time during the protest, you know, when sometimes the police or the security personnel want to take it calm. Some will do like they are the most active youth in the state. We're trying to drag a gun with an officer. And the other one now had to come on rescue. And coming on rescue, you know, soldier does not here come and go. So that is why we can deal with police, we fight, we settle. But DSSL, we fight, we settle. But a soldier man does not understand what you mean by settle. Their own is you face me, you insult me, that means you want to kill me. And they will respond. Okay. So let our youth understand the fact that there are ways to go about things. Okay. Insecurity is not the best. What has been happening in Egboma and some part of Edo Central, it's unfortunate that it happened. But sometimes these things are sabotage. Sometimes people replay it as if the way it never even happened, they replay it. It's election time. Election is coming. People want to get cheap popularity. People want to get supporter at the very lowest brain without working for it. But however, it's also a responsibility for government to be more proactive, to take more measures like we have even seen now. It's fine. Even those who were involved, whether some students were, because we were also hearing reports that though people are calling Fulani, some students and indigenes were not taking it as straight. Some will tell you they are doing Yahoo. Some we are doing this. You buy JK, you buy this one tomorrow. How did it come? Some can't even spell their name. Some does not even have any business address. Unlike me, as a young man, I remember the first year I bought my first car. In short, I was already working, but I was scared. A man said this, so a C-class man said, I said, Jesus. If police now asked me now, I was trying to check my salary, check the expenses I do at home, because when I was growing up, I was always told that if you buy a major property, government will come and investigate your income and what is left, how you can acquire it. Okay. So it took me a lot of years to settle my mind on that. Okay. So, but these days, 17 years, 15 years, we buy property worth 30 million, 40 million, where you and I cannot even raise 1.5 million naira to solve basic things that we need to do.
Let me ask you this question. You commended the governor for being fatherly in his action in releasing those students. Are you bothered in any way by this concern that this government is now being repeated for hiring and firing at the slightest provocation or at the slightest opportunity? We just saw recently the special advisor on youth mobilization has been relieved of his appointment. I mean, this has been characteristic of the present government. The other day, I think it was the managing director of those city transport or so that was also, I mean, this is characteristics of this. Is it that the government doesn't look at people before appointing them? It's after they are appointed and then they don't live up to the expectation that they are showed the way that, isn't this negative and bad publicity for the government?
Sometimes you know that we may not be fully informed. You know, the governor is the chief executive officer of the state. And employer, you know, usually get all the information he or she needs to get. But sometimes may not go to the media to castigate. We've had in some cases there were financial infraction, some persons were relieved, and what have you. If you go in details, to whom they are concerned, are they truly victim? Like the special advisor on youth you talked about, not former, for example, he just came from PDP, for example, and when he was given an appointment, majority of the APC people were very angered and angry owing to the activities of that young man during and after that our election. And for those who have toiled all night, they've caught nothing, and he just came, he's being rewarded on war ground. So probably they have also prayed to their own God. Maybe if this is fair, let it be.
Maybe that's how they set him up.
Maybe if it is not fair, intervene. Okay. Maybe God now choose to show the real character of the person, and the person who also employed him now fired him. Now, I probably think what I heard, maybe it was surrounding the unrest in Ekboma. You know, when you are a leader and you are a special advisor on youth, for example, that is why we must fix people to where fits them. Not just appointing people just... what we now see, even sometimes in the absence of governors, chairmen, people get appointments without having, even without the governor even knowing. In most cases, they now later find out that this person is his aide. Did I approve that? Did I say yes, so you approved it? Oh, I never did. So when government must be calculative, government must surround themselves sometimes with people that are outstanding and have capacity, and people who can state things just the way they are, so the system can move forward, not sycophants. When there are too many sycophants, mistakes are bound to be made, but however, can also be corrected. Okpebholo government, for example, I applaud him in very many areas. Just as you said, he has been able to even engage many people. And unfortunately, sometimes you do also talked about the Edo City transport. Even when that young lady was given the appointment, there were a lot of cry from somewhere that can a young lady handle this kind of thing? And some will say what a man can do, a woman can do better. But after the firing, I also did some investigation. I made some calls among staffs and all that around there. And I was told about her high-heartedness, not collectively working with even body. You know, where politicians are involved. Even if you are CEO, general, you must understand that even the cleaner that came as a level at the ground of politics, you must make the person, you must carry the person along. The person must be well informed, because the person may not have had the degree that gave you what you had. If the person had your degree, maybe the person would have even been the one at the point where you are in. But because of your degree, you had an advantage that you have moved there. And you are undermining the person because he's a cleaner. The person may even be closer far to the governor than you. And maybe all your deeds within the agencies will easily be told. And when 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 complain, is a problem. I even heard, for example, from somebody, even secretaries of those of the so-called Edola board and members, most times are not even aware of what is going on. And when they try to talk, when they try to ask questions, they tell them in Canada, this is how we do it in Canada. In Canada, don't they carry people along? So there are a lot of things sometimes we for the governor to take action sometimes, he may not be in his own interest to hire and fire at will, because he also know the consequences that when you are not being tagged that you can hire and fire. Okay. But when there are inadequacies and inefficiency, what will he do? Will he pretend because some people assume?
We'll take a break now for the news update. We'll be back to continue with the rest of the program, TMI, as we look at something quite interesting, the presidency's action on lobbying. $9 million is in the kitty of a Republican lobbyist. Stay with us. U.S. congressional investigation has brought to the fore that $9 million is being used by the federal government through the Office of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, to change the narratives about genocide in Nigeria. Stakeholders are calling for probe into this matter, just the same way a probe is going on in the U.S. Congress. We really have heard something concrete from the government of the day. But what is the underlying factors for this $9 million lobbying deal with a U.S. Republican? is a major question they were asking on the show this morning. I'd like to thank Austin Adogame Brimo, who is a veteran journalist, public affairs analyst, and former National Commissioner in the Police Service Commission. Austin Adogame, thank you for joining us on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. Finding it difficult to get any audio from Austin's response so far. Austin, are you there?
Okay. Yes, I am here. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Oh, great. Yes, it's always a pleasure to be with you. ITV being my favorite station, and anything to do with politics today is also my favorite. So I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to the privilege of giving me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Austin. Let's look at the issue. $9 million is a subject of investigation by the U.S. Congress. Office of the National Security Advisor is said to have made that deal to prevent President Donald Trump from ordering an action on Nigeria over genocide accusations or allegations against Christians. What do you know about this story?
Frankly speaking, I still take it in the realms of speculation that the money being a very huge amount of money, it must attract attention, it must attract concern looking at our economy. But except it is confirmed by the federal government that that amount was the exact amount given for the lobby operation, then I would then say whether it's too much or it's not too much. But I think the issue is whether what the money is meant for is right or wrong is what is more important. The narrative out there is that it is meant to lobby the president to either mellow down his position on this Christian genocide in Nigeria and all that. But I think it's more. There's more to that. A lot of distortions about Nigeria is in the space, in everywhere, and there's always need for our Ministry of Foreign Affairs to work along with our national security advisors to put in place a good image for the country, because America invariably is the greatest supplier of military weapons to the country as we have it. And once we are in the negative, if our image is in the negative, it will affect even the delivery, like it did during Jonathan or Yar'Adua, that U.S. suspended delivering some jets that have already been paid for. The suspended delivering military hardware to the country. I think it was even during the emergence of Boko Haram. A lot of narratives were in the space, and they were negatives, and the country was seen to be compromising. The country was seen to not to be serious about fighting these insurgencies and so on. So, but nobody will tell you what the government at that time did to correct that narrative before the next president of the U.S. lifted that embargo and before they started supplying weapons to Nigeria. A lot of things go underground, go on, which we don't know. So I'm always very circumspect when we're talking about security, particularly national.
All right.
So national security is a very sensitive
let me come in here and get you to look at issues from this perspective, which has to do with this issue of $9 million lobbying deal in Nigerian naira or Nigerian currency runs into billions of naira. Now, at a time where concerns have been expressed or allegations have been made about genocide in Nigeria, this is coming forth from the Office of the National Security, and from all the information available, this was a calculated attempt by that office and by extension the presidency to douse the narrative about genocide against Christians in some parts of the northern part of this country. Is this not a blight on whatever the federal government is saying in this regard? If we are going to lobby the U.S. government or the Republicans, in a way to ensure that we're able to reconstruct the narrative about this issue, Is that not a blight on whatever we're doing as a country, as a government, as far as this issue is concerned?
Not exactly. If you have listened to the continuous rhetoric and conversations surrounding this Christian genocide in Nigeria, it has even diverted from the earlier position that even national clerics, even Christian Association of Nigeria, at a point, one or two executives made some contradictory statements. At a point, some governors contradicted their positions. At a point, some national ministry officials even contradicted their position. I think what is more important is when you want to kill a snake, it doesn't matter what weapon you use. You want the snake dead. We sometimes dwell on the methods. Now, what the perception is created when we said Christian genocide, the government is worried about the perception, not the act. The government is not denying that Christians are being killed. The government has not denied that Christians are being targeted in some northern states or in most parts of the northern states. Government has not denied that. And no one is out there to say Christians are not being targeted. Yes, but even in that, we agree that Muslims too are being killed. So what government is trying to do is to shift the focus away from this religious interpretation of these killings. That yes, why would know that Christians are losing more? I live more in the north. I spend most of my time in the north. I've stayed in Kano, I've stayed in Maiduguri, I stayed in Abuja, I've stayed in Jos. So I'm quite familiar with the threat and the danger of practicing Christianity amidst a Muslim-dominated population. I mean, I attended a university in the north in those days where Muslim student society was the umbrella of every social activity in the university. And any social club has to be careful in functioning under that umbrella. So I do know how religious sentiments, how high it is in some parts of the country. So there's no denying that. But it is important that we look at it from another prism. That when it goes out there, Christians are being killed in Nigeria. It's not helpful to the government, not just government. It's not helpful to even we Christians, because if their sister is coming, this sister is coming for Christians, not Muslims, how will we welcome that? We're in a pluralistic country where some say dominated by Muslims, and then we don't have the ratio of Christian-Muslim relationship. But the earlier we play down these statistics, the better for our public image. Let us first agree, and which is not in doubt, that the two religions are losing. And the bitter thing is that those who are perpetrating the killings are Muslims. And so there's no one who could form the idea that Christians are being targeted. Christians are being targeted. But let the Americans know that it's not a religious war. It will help us to accept the assistance they want to give to us. It will help us to accept the whatever level they want to come in. And so it will be, it's not Christians alone that will accept whatever Americans want to send to Nigeria, whether they want to give us weapons, want to send.
Let me pass it. I'll come back to you in just a moment. I'll come back to you. Colin Samadi Osaga. The underlying issue here is that there's genocide in Nigeria. There are killings of Christians, and we're also aware there are killings of Muslims. Who are the people responsible? The terrorists. So which means the common enemy to both Christians and Muslims are the terrorists. Whichever way a means is deployed to take these people out, is there anything wrong with that? But government now going to lobby and spend billions of taxpayers' monies to actualize this. We're only getting to know, even though it's still subject to investigation, based on what is already happening in the U.S. Congress, that this money is being spent by the Office of the National Security Advisor to drive a lobby conversation against the tag of genocide against Christians. What do you make of this? Is this something we should applaud the government for? We should put a pat on the back of the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu through the Office of National Security Advisor?
Thank God my leader already said some of the vital things ordinarily I would have said. It's unfortunate that we overblown issue in this country. But yes, there are issues on ground to be debated, lobby. In international relations, lobbying is part of it. And you can lobby in whatever form. Now, is America trying to play saint? Or who is trying to do the investigation to play saint? When America decided to invade Venezuela, remove the president, who indeed is fully sovereign, started stealing their oil till just now, saying we will sell. Was he authorized? For example, was he authorized? Those who left Nigeria to America begging Trump to come and destroy Nigeria because they are not in government, did they just jump and had access to the Republicans that they used in the parliament? Did they not lobby before they went there to give the country a bad image and say Christian genocide? Agree. More Christians have had their fair share. It's normal in an environment where you live. The most domineering people there dominates. Even here, for example, most time when there are crises, you saw the brief that happened the other day that the governor frowned at in Ekboma. You went to a certain market and started burning the market, carrying people's ram and goat, you were slaughtering. Because it's your domain. Most time you have an advantage because it's your environment. So what I'm trying to say is that nobody appeals or is appreciating the fact that people are being killed. But let's not make it look as if Nigeria must go down. Tinubu is president today. After 8 years, Tinubu will not remain there. Another person will come. Let's be patient. Atiku Abikote is Nadeko, for example. Now that I want to pull the whole roof down, himself and his group, for example, if he had pulled the roof down then, and we became like Libya, or Afghanistan, or Iran, assumingly the way they are praying for, just because they are not in charge, not that they don't have money, not that their business is not that they even pay tax, the way they are supposed to pay, with all the luxury cars they are driving up and down, parking.
So how do you know they don't pay tax?
And our army to be opening gate for them.
How do you know they don't pay tax?
They don't pay the way they are supposed to be paying. Because if they are paying, they will not be parking all those security personnel, even when they have left government many years ago. A normal business person cannot be spending the money from his business to be parking soldier, parking police, to be opening gate for them. Now that the president have reduced all of that, they don't have that apparatus anymore. To them, let the whole world loose. That is what we said in my adage in Benin. The heaven wants to fall, the ground wants to open. It's not opening or it's not falling for one person. So they must know this, because they want to push this country to the point they want to. Now you said they lobby. Yes, Nigerian government must also be smart and careful with the American people. Because one, since their eye is in Venezuela oil, their eye is in Iran oil, and their nuclear system, because you cannot just be everything all the time now.
Okay.
Let American allow peace to reign in this world.
Okay.
Because the war Trump has brought for the past 2 years to the entire world, now he's fighting with Greenland, you are fighting with this one, you are fighting with Denmark, everybody is your enemy. That means they are the common enemy.
All right, let's
so
take a
maybe the returning back of our Lord Jesus Christ is going to come through this one, just as Russia said this morning. I was watching CNN before I left. They say if America dear Greenland, they are sorry. That will be the collapse of the entire world.
All right, let me proceed. I'll come back to you in a moment. We'll take a short break. It's still politics today on independent television and radio. Austin Adogame will be with you in just a moment. Stay. Okay, our studio number is 08077770300. That's our studio number. Let's get a take on some of the issues that we've highlighted for you on the program today, Politics Today on independent television and radio. Comrade Austin Adogame, Honorable Austin Adogame, let me come back to you briefly. Some stakeholders are advocating the need to investigate these allegations of $9 million lobbying deal with a Republican stakeholder to engage the issue of genocide in Nigeria. Let me get your take on this.
Yeah, I'm certainly not in support because it's a security issue. We want, if an investigation is accepted and carried out the way some stakeholders are suggesting, it's likely to be counterproductive. One, there are also allegations that I don't want to give it that coloration pro Biafra group, but they said there is allegation that a group of Nigerians who really want this country to be broken into bits also raised a lot of dollar components lobby group are paid to push the negative side of the narrative of Christian genocide in Nigeria. By the time investigation is put in place, that group will also be exposed, and the amount that they spent will also come into force. And that the National Security Office of the National Security, I beg your pardon, the Office of the National Security Advisor does not act alone. It must have acted along with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I will assure you that that budget is not just a budget of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or the budget of money attached to the National Security Advisor. Issues that have to do with security, some are highly domiciled with the president, where he can at any time with his powers to decide to make a supplementary appropriation for when there are threats.
Let me pause you. Let me take this call from one of our callers. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where you calling from? You're live on Politics Today.
Good morning, Mr. Sonny Duke.
Good morning.
Yeah, my name is Comrade Abi. I'm calling from Benin.
Comrade, go ahead, please.
I just want to contribute concerning Fubara issue, what is happening in Rivers State.
Go ahead.
The truth of the matter is that I've not seen anything wrong that the governor has done. So let the House of Assembly leave him to rule. When Wike was the governor of the state, nobody disturbed him. There is no smoke without fire. As you speak now, the man has defected. They are still disturbing him. They should allow him be. Thank you very much.
All right, Comrade Abe, thank you very much for your contribution. 08077770300 is the studio number. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, sir. Dr. Sonny.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Good is Rab.
Yes.
The first caller, I think Usagabi.
Comrade Abe is his name. Yes, go ahead.
We were talking about how he bought his first car.
Okay, Comrade Collins Usaga. Yeah, he's still here. He's still here. Yeah.
When they train for house.
Thank you.
You cannot subsidize responsibility. You expect people to be more responsible. I think Governor Bubara should learn from Governor Bode. You can learn from our past governor of Godino Paseki of Edo State, who could not even bring a successor at the end of it all. Everything went good because he refused to align with the prerequisite and requisite of good leadership. That's my case.
Thank you very much. Thank you. 08077770300 is the studio number. Dial it and let's get a take on Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. Please tell us your name and also let us know where you're calling from, and be brief because several others are on queue to be part of the conversation. Good morning, caller. What's your name? Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. What's your name?
Yes, the voice of ordinary people.
The voice of ordinary people. Please go ahead.
Yes, I just want to correct what Collins Osaga said.
Okay.
That Trump came to come and destroy Nigeria. That one is a blatant lie.
I never
Trump
said so.
didn't came to restore Nigeria. Trump came to come and save us. We Christians prayed for Trump to be in power. Obama was the one that came to destroy Nigeria. Obama refused to sell weapons to Jonathan during that time. Many Christians have been killed in Nigeria. I stand to be corrected. Even though Muslims are killed, they are just very few. They are not to 10%. 90% of the people killed in the north are Christians. So Trump has been sent by God to help us. Because if you go to Benue, many of them have been killed. Not now. They have been killed for more than 10 years. They have been there. So the government has done nothing. The government have really done nothing to arrest those people doing it. So Trump is sent by God to help us. That's number one. Then number two, why should you be spending money if your hand is pure? If you don't have to waste taxpayer money. We are trying a road that's not good. If your ways are pure, you don't have to be wasting money. So we believe they have something to hide. That's why they are doing all this. Because they don't have to waste that kind of billions of naira. When people are crying, all the roads are bad. Come to Edo State now, no federal road is good. All the roads is even in this governor that even try to cover the secret of the federal government. The federal government have really done no road in Edo State yet.
Thank you. Thank you. Voice of the people. Thank you. We'll take our last caller, and then we'll be back to call it a wrap. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name and where you calling from? It's still Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. Please tell us your name and let us know where you're calling from.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, and what's your name?
God bless you. Thank you for having me today. My name is Solomon Ataga.
Solomon Ataga, where you are is a bit noisy, but go ahead.
You can bear with me. So you can hear me.
Yes, go ahead.
The fact is that ITV, you repair the station. That is the reason why people are coming there today. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So the Nigerian government should build their country so that other countries will not interfere in our country. And the issue of River State, somebody came from nowhere with 6 months, 1 trillion was spent. This is a trillion naira that I don't say we not spend in 2 years. Today, no investigation is going on. All we are after is to impeach the government. If really we are impeaching sincerely, it will not be passing. So we are impeaching because there are people denying us. So we should tread with caution. These people who claim the whole river, they have not used their effort to make sure the refinery river work. If river is building as to that today, it's not enough. Comparing the money, the resources they have in the country.
Okay.
They cannot be using their money to be sacrificing the country. All the name they have power and they have federal connection and all that. River today, if a citizen from 55 years is receiving 200,000 a river, it's not even enough because they have all it takes to pay those citizens. But today, what are we doing? We are using the river's money to campaign, to beg to people, to inviting, to claiming, going state. If they don't have position as a minister, where would they have that money of doing those things?
Okay.
Let's work on one. Let's talk about what would bring development, so cost to the common citizen. I was in river 3 days ago. So you cannot tell me that this river is beauty enough as the way it's supposed to be. That people who have the connection are using their effort, practicing unnecessary crime. I don't even know.
All right, Solomon Ataga, thank you. My time is up on the program Politics Today. I want to say big thanks to our panelist, Honorable Austin Adogame Brimo. Thank you for joining us from Abuja. Austin, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much, Kusu, and thanks to our listeners. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Comrade Collins Amadiosa. It's always a delight to have you here.
It's always my
Well,
pleasure.
I'm just thinking, with all the billions and billions, what is wrong with River State actually setting a standard for the country? Maybe lecturers at the highest paid, civil servants at the highest paid, security is at its lowest ebb. The elder statesmen or senior citizens, they are on proper salary. What is wrong with that? But what do? We amass this money so we can continue to perpetuate ourselves in power. We look for trouble where nobody's looking for our trouble, so we can spend money. It's so disappointing. Well, that's our package for today. Thank you for staying with us. Have a great weekend.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
ITV, certainly the best.
Omonoba Nedu Ukwakolopolo, Ewai II, Oba of Benin, stepped out majestically with loud crowd to perform the Soton rites of his late mother, Queen Mother Ioba Omoni Ikoyeme, Ioba Ewai II, who departed this world 49 years ago. Isoton is a traditional rite of the procession in memory of the departed person's spirit in Benin Kingdom. It is usually heralded by public display of the departed person's influence during their sojourn on earth. The display of a human effigy symbolizing the departed royal matriarch was preceded by the Oba of Benin, who led the procession from his palace to the Immortal Shrine at King Square in Benin City, where he offered prayers for the repose of the soul of the Queen Mother, Ioba Ewai II. Thereafter, the priest assigned to the Immortal Shrine offered Oba Ewai II items for Isoton on behalf of his family. However, chalk, known as Uri, represented a mischief from royal fans after ancestral spirits were invoked to bear witness and announce his arrival. On his way home, Oba Ewai paid tributes at various pilgrimage sites, including Queen Idia Tomb, the Side Oba Market, where a cheerful crowd of traders abandoned their wares to catch a glimpse of the royal personage and join in the celebration.
ITV, certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Bully, we're talking about. That's what I said. So when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation